Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. As you can tell by the title, today we're going to be discussing the best eyeshadow palettes at the drugstore. Now I must admit most of my makeup is drugstore makeup, but when it comes to palettes I have a lot more high-end palettes than I do drugstore palettes that I love. So in this video today I'm going to be showing you the absolute best drugstore palettes that you can find that are inexpensive and give you great quality for an amazing price. So I thought I'd sit down and share them with you all, so let's just get right on into it. Alright, the first eyeshadow palettes I'm going to talk about are from Milani. Now I do have 3 palettes right here. These aren't my absolute favorite palettes just because they're not super big. I can't get a lot of variety from them, but if you're someone who wants just an eyeshadow palette that you can just play around with like 1 or 2 looks with, this is definitely a palette for you. So I have 3 palettes right here. I will go through these shades. The first one is the Earthy Metals palette in 05. If you're into warm tone shades, this is definitely the palette for you. You can definitely get a more natural look using just some of the transition shades, or you can go more smoky and deep. So this is one of my favorite palettes. The eyeshadows in here are so creamy, so blendable, so pigmented. It's crazy. I love the whole gold packaging. Very beautiful, and these shades are definitely a winner. And then I have Bare Necessities. This is 02. Now this is the perfect palette if you're looking for an everyday eyeshadow palette. This is the one for you because you can get an everyday effortless eyeshadow look with this. You can definitely build up the smokiness by using this brown shade, or stick to the natural look by just using the other transition shades. I love the mattes in these palettes as well as the shimmers. You do get a nice variety, so I love all of these palettes from Milani. And the last one I own is in the shade Smoky Essentials. And as the name suggests, it is a more smoky palette, a lot of blue tones in here. This is one of my favorites as well, just because the shadows are so good and you don't find a lot of colorful eyeshadows at the drugstore. So if you're looking for a nice smoky palette, this is definitely the way to go. Overall, I love these Milani palettes. The quality in here is absolutely amazing, and they're really nice and compact. If you are looking for a everyday eyeshadow palette, this is the way to go. And the little brush in here is actually not bad for doing your lower lash line or defining the outer corner. So I love them. They also have some directions on the back on different looks you can do, so highly recommend these Milani eyeshadow palettes. Now this next palette should come as no shocker to any of you if you've been watching me for a while. This is the Sonia Kashuk Eye on Neutral Eye Couture Matte Palette. Now this palette of mine is so beat up. I use it every single day, and it might not look like it since they are matte shadows and they don't have a lot of fall or anything, but this is one of my absolute favorite palettes. I use it every single day, no joke, just because it has all the matte essential shades you need for an everyday basic look. I love this palette. It's very compact as well, and you do get 12 shades in here. You can use this for any single look, combine it with every single eyeshadow palette you have to create a nice base with matte eyeshadows. If you're looking for the best, and I'm telling you, the best matte eyeshadows at the drugstore, this is the way to go. I love this palette so much. Highly recommend. Speaking about matte eyeshadows, I also have to give a mention to my Hard Candy Pro Look Matte Eyeshadow Palette. This is what this looks like right here, and it is another matte eyeshadow palette. I do love this one as well. I just don't use it as much as my Sonia Kashuk one, since that one's a little more compact and a little more everyday use for me. But this palette's also amazing. I did a review video on this one and I absolutely love it. These shades in here blend out really nicely. They're not as pigmented as the Sonia Kashuk palette, but they are buildable and really easy to work with. I love the unique shades in here, like the gray, the light blue, some of the burgundy and purples. They're really gorgeous, and I do enjoy this palette quite a bit. Next, I'm going to give a mention to my e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes. I have so many of these right here and I need to share them with you guys. The first ones I have are their matte palettes. Although I love my Sonia Kashuk palette, I find myself reaching for these just as much, and this is the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette. Now this is probably my most used palette, along with the Sonia Kashuk ones. I kind of rotate through these, but this is such a gorgeous palette. It has so many beautiful matte shades, a little more smoky than the Sonia Kashuk. I must admit, you have some darker shades right here, but it's so gorgeous. And if you're picking between the two, I'd say go with either, because they do have a very similar shade range. The Sonia Kashuk palette just has a few more shades. And then e.l.f. also has their Mad for Matte Holy Smokes palette, and this one I love. I have not seen a palette like this at the drugstore at all. It's so unique and so inexpensive at the same time. I love this gray transition, the warmer shades right here, and the cooler pops of color. They are so gorgeous, and if you're looking for an amazing matte palette, definitely reach for e.l.f. They are so amazing. I can't even tell you guys enough. I do have videos on both the Mad for Matte Original and the Mad for Matte Holy Smokes palette, which I will link down below for you guys to watch if you want more information and swatches on both of these. So for the other e.l.f. palettes I have their Prism eyeshadow palettes. Now if you're not into matte eyeshadows at all and you just love your shimmer shades, definitely go for the Prism eyeshadow palettes. I do have two of them right here. I have the one in the shade Naked and the one in the shade Smoke. So these are just Prism eyeshadows. They are very shimmery, very intense. If that's what you're going for, these are the eyeshadow palettes for you. Now what I would recommend is getting one of the matte palettes from e.l.f. and then also getting one of these Prism palettes to add a shimmer right on top of your look to finish it off. These are both amazing, very inexpensive, under 10 bucks, and you get such beautiful shades right here. And these, let me tell you guys, are so like pigmented. It's literally insane. Look at that right there. So highly recommend the e.l.f. Prism palettes. Now e.l.f. does have some other palettes I own, and I'm not going to mention them in this video because they're not my absolute favorites. My top picks from e.l.f. has to be their Mad for Matte palettes and their Prism palettes. Next palette I want to share with you guys is the Rimmel Magnif-eyes eyeshadow palette. Now they do have quite a couple shades in this palette, but mine is in the shade 001, Keep Calm and Wear Gold. I do have a video and review on this palette if you guys want to go watch that. I'll link it down below if you want more information and swatches on all the shades. But I did want to mention it in this video because this is the perfect palette if you're just looking for your everyday natural palette that's so easy to use, and you can just pop any of these shades on the eyes and it'll look gorgeous. This is the palette for you. Obviously, me as a makeup reviewer, I do like my more bold looks, so I only use this palette sometimes when I'm looking for that really natural everyday basic look. So if you're into really bold shades, this is not the palette for you, but it is nice to have around for those basic shades. You have some nice gold shades and bronzes in here, and the mattes in this palette are also excellent, so I highly recommend it. The next palette I want to talk about is from Wet n Wild, and this is their Au Naturel Bare Necessities palette. Now, if you guys don't already know, Wet n Wild is like hands down my all-time favorite brand, not only drugstore but in general, and I have to admit some of their palettes are kind of hit or miss, but this is definitely a very good one. You might need to put in a bit of work with these shimmers with some setting spray and stuff, but to be honest, I wet every single eyeshadow I use that's a shimmer. No matter how great the palette is, I'm always wetting my shimmer eyeshadows, so I don't mind doing it with this, but the matte shades also in here are really good. This palette definitely kind of reminds me of the Urban Decay Naked palette, so if you're looking for a similar palette to that, this is definitely the way to go, and it's super inexpensive and pretty good quality, I must admit. If you're looking for amazing quality eyeshadow palettes at the drugstore for a really inexpensive price, definitely turn to Makeup Revolution. I have their Day to Night Essentials palette, and this is more of a colorful eyeshadow palette, I must admit, but it's really pretty because, as the name suggests, it's definitely day to night. You have some more light neutral shades right here, and then you have some dark pops of color right here, and a beautiful blue shade. I love this blue shade right here, so I love this palette, and you get a lot of variation with it. And then they also have their Iconic collection. I only have number 2 from that collection. Now they do have 3 of these, 1, 2, and 3, and they are supposed to resemble the Urban Decay Naked palettes. I have the 2, so this is supposed to resemble the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette, and it definitely does. I honestly love this palette. I use it quite a bit. I did use it to create this eye look today, and I do enjoy the quality of the eyeshadows, so I love my Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes. So I do also want to quickly share with you guys the Maybelline City Mini palette in the color Matte About Town. This is the only one I own, but I have heard also great things about the other shades. This is such a hit from Maybelline. I'm so happy with the quality of this and so happy that they came out with this palette. They do have quite a couple shades, and it is such a compact little palette, but you can actually work so much with this. I love this one right here because it has beautiful matte shades, and I can definitely use this to create almost any warm tone look, so I love this palette so much. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope this helped you if you were looking for an amazing drugstore eyeshadow palette. I would highly recommend any of the palettes I showed you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram. I will leave my account down below. But thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.